Hello, everybody. Welcome back for our next episode of Dragon Age. I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with today. Before we jump in and hand it over to Matt to do introductions, I'm just going to say a few quick words about our sponsors. They are Fundamental RPG. It's a simple D20 system. It's not tied to any genre, so you can use it to play any style of game that you would like, from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between. You can pick up the physical copies on Amazon, or if you prefer a digital version, you can pick that up at coffee.com/Raven, like it's spelled at the bottom of the screen. Also, big thank you to our other sponsor, Die Hard Dice. You can go to dieharddice.com and use the code ANIMUS with a capital A for 10% off of your order. And I highly recommend checking out the Luminous Chrome set. It is very pretty with these really cool little sparkly nebulas sort of inside almost clear dice. They're extremely satisfying to roll. And then finally, if you want to catch up on this show or any others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network, or on YouTube. Just search for Black Feather Guild and it should be the first result. All that out of the way, we'll hand it on over to Matt to do introductions and take it all away.
Hello, welcome back. Thank you all so much for joining us once again. I'm Matt, the Game Master for this half of the Dragon Age campaign. We're going to go around, introduce everybody and the character they're playing. We're going to start with Pat. Hello.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I'm Pat. I am a tactric on Twitter and Twitch and anywhere else I would be online. And I am playing Calix. Calix is a Navarin Mortalitasi necromancer. He is marked by the Dreadwolf, apparently. According to the Dreadwolf, or his own hallucinations, is marked by the Dreadwolf.
It's fine. It's fine. Next up is Anna. Hello.
Hey there. Yeah, I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny most places on the internet, and I play Mariana Del Norte, the very personable rogue who is looking for her sister, and still unknown to the party is a crow. Somehow the party hasn't figured it out, but oh well.
It's all, it's only been like a day that you've been in your town, so. Next up is Icy Historian. Hello.
Hi, how's it going? Awesome. I'm Icy Historian at Icy Historian, all the places I feel like being found. And I play Asala Polanius, a Tevinter Altus, who is on a very important assignment from the Imperium that will hopefully lead to her death. So nobody back home has to put up with her when she gets back.
It's and next up we have Rafiki. Hello.
Well, hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. I am Rafiki. I'm here and I play Patron of Elwood, the only elf in the party and Dalish rogue. Who only crow that you know are those that usually fly. So yes, no clue what those Shem crow thing are.
It's all probably fine. I'm sure it's not going to come up that much.
No, I mean, it's gonna be fine. Everything is fine.
Look, if you're traveling with one, that'd be something else. But, you're probably not. It's fine. And last but not least, we're going to be joined by Nikki here in a little bit. And she is playing NPC turned mage Valentina. And it is the morning after y'all's throwdown fight with the Sylvan in the bar. Y'all are planning on heading out today with Atrian as your guide. Y'all all decided to tramp out into the Arlathan forest for your various reasons. And y'all are heading out later today. What do you do on your last day in town?
Atrian had requested that I talk to, as Pat put it, my union of dishwashers, to see if they knew anything about the people that he's looking for. So I would do that.
Okay. Let's see here. We're gonna get you to talk to some folks. So, do me a communication roll. If you have investigation as a focus, you can add that in.
It's like the only communication I don't have. How about persuasion or bargaining?
Persuasion will work. Yeah,
Awesome.
15. Okay. It's
Oh wait, that didn't roll my persuasion. That should be 2 more, so 17.
17, even better. Fantastic. So you head out, you're kicking over some buckets and, you know, talking to contacts out in the wider city, getting word out. Eventually you get a few scraps of information that some people that kind of match the description of the ones Atrian is looking for did pass through Antiva City. It was a little bit ago, but it's about the right time frame. They match the descriptions, and they were heading out to the Arlathan Forest. And one contact mentions just kind of this passing reference that one of the people in their party had made to head to the old elfin city, which is weird because there aren't any there. And by there, I mean the whole forest. So that's weird.
Very weird. Okay. Before heading back, I will also pick up whatever supplies might be requisitioned for this particular contract. And then I'll head back and talk to Atrian.
Groovy. You can also pick up supplies needed for your new ability
Ooh.
while you're out shopping. Cool. Who else has something they need to do today before y'all leave the city?
Well, I suppose that since I'm gonna be a guide to Forest, and part of my job to make sure they don't die, and we actually are well equipped for that. I'm probably just gonna try to bargain with the locals to get a few things. I'm not sure what my companions have for equipment or like traveling gear. I do know that I have a small tent, but I can only fit, me and maybe one person if we like decide to spoon very closely. So I might be in the market for an extra one, at least larger tent for them, and just a few things here and there that I know will need, like traveling food, like food travels. Because not to put shade on some of them, but most of them don't seem that they step outside of home very often. So they may not be exactly used to the wilderness.
Okay. So all right, roll me what, persuasion? What do you want to use to try to get a good deal on some traveling equipment?
I don't have any focus in my communication skills, so it would just be straight up communication.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Roll it up.
Could have been worse. Not really, but could have been.
It could have been. Do you want to use any of those stunt points on anything?
You know what? Might as well. While I have them, it will be, I suppose, RP stunts. I guess I can use Bomo, which would essentially allow me to, just use the right wording, the right people here. I don't think I can split a crowd here because there's probably not any crowd. So
no, it's not super busy yet. It's still early in the day.
Yeah. But yeah, just want to I have to write wording.
Okay. You're gonna be able to find some gear. The problem is that there have been so many people heading up to
Mhm.
the Arlathan Forest recently that people are kind of running out.
Oh, I figure.
So there's not a whole lot to be had, but you are able to pick up some stuff that you can divvy out to different people. So that'll help out a little bit on the
Okay.
traveling and keeping everybody happy.
Oh, fantastic. Then I'll see what I can get and count out my coins and be broke. That's okay. Money's not important.
That's what they say. All right. Who else is doing something this morning?
So Calix has some ideas for the group's safety as well, or to take care of it, that go in a different direction. What was the name of our flouncing contact again?
Oh boy, hold on. He's my favorite. Let me pull up his name. I want to get it right. Farron.
Theron, yes. So I know we managed to score some books from him from the last time. I kind of, before we leave town, want to essentially crash his library and do research, if he will let me. On essentially, I'm just looking for anything on demon trees and the Dreadwolf is what I'm looking for. The things that I think are going to kill us on this trip.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah, you're gonna be able to do that for sure. So when you show back up to his manor, I think Asala, you were gonna do something with the books as well, right? With books as well.
Pardon me. Sorry. Yeah.
So are you going? Are you going with Calix on this little trip then?
I can. I was thinking that she was just more going to gather what she already got and look through that because Asala is going to go clothes shopping.
Oh, okay. Then we'll bounce back to Calix then. So you show up at the manor at his beautiful house with the Thaden equivalent of peacocks still in the front yard. And as you're walking up to the front door, a severely dressed individual in a suit walks out of the front door and says, Master Calix, yes, you're not welcome through the front door. The servant door is around the side, and it will take you directly into the cellar where you are allowed to be. Thank you.
Do I recognize this person from my first visit?
You might have seen him around. There was a bunch of servant type people.
I guess I'm trying to get a sense of how high up the chain this person is. Who has been sent to deal with me, I guess.
More or less. He is not like the head butler, but he is a butler.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. See, oh my gosh, he's torn I'm torn because Calix comes from nobility, is not used to be treating this way, but is also super awkward and would avoid this kind of confrontation whenever possible. Right, and the requirements for my research will be then found in the cellar.
Yes, that is where anything for you is residing, sir.
All right. Yes, and where should what I find be insufficient?
There is a bell. There is a bell.
There is a bell. Okay. And your name was?
I'm Migby.
Migby. Okay.
So
Thank
yes,
you.
just around the side of the monks, past the peacock pins, try to avoid stepping in anything, and down the stairs, through the kitchen to the cellar door.
Mhm. I think he just grimly turns and goes. I think is like talking to him, like chiding himself for not saying anything as he's going past the peacocks and like just stressing them out as he goes by.
That's fantastic. So you walk around down through all this. There are some people bustling around, and they don't seem to really acknowledge you as you walk through.
Do I important
yes.
question? Do I
Yeah.
walk past anything delicious or alcoholic looking in the kitchen?
Oh yeah. There are several bottles of wine that are sitting out next to some goblets. And there is just like a whole table full of like little finger food things, and there are some plates nearby as well.
I think he will grab 2 of whatever bottles he thinks he's seen Asala grab looking fancy before.
Fantastic. Roll me a d6. Roll me a straight up d6. We're gonna see how lucky Calix is. 4. All right. Yeah, you got some that look very fancy. That look, you're pretty sure that Asala had one of these bottles, but this one's dustier than hers. So I don't know. Maybe that means it's not as good. Who knows? And then one has like some fancy gold filigree on the bottle, and it just looks shiny. Calix did real good, is what happened here. Calix got the good stuff.
Nice. Yes, I will not drink that here. I'm taking that back with me.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, so you making it through the kitchen. No one really pays you any mind or says anything. If you look back as you're walking through, you'll notice that 2 more bottles have appeared to replace the ones you took. They don't look quite the same, but similar.
No one.
And you find the door to the cellar, and it opens up to the exact same room that you were in with Farron and Asala the other day.
Mhm.
In fact, you walked in through the same door that you walked in that day, but y'all came down a different way. You definitely did not come through the kitchens. But as soon as you close the door behind you, all of the shelves are revealed in the walls. Like they just kind of emerge from their magic defenses or whatever. And you're going to be able to study up on all sorts of good stuff. And we will figure out what that means. I know what that means. You're going to get a bonus to some stuff here later on today.
Yay.
All right. Let's talk to Sala real fast. So you have 3 books on different things relating to the Tevinter Magisterium, to the barriers with the Fade. You have 3 pretty good books on that you had never seen before. So these are other people's studies on this topic, so that's good times.
Yes.
And you said you wanted to go shopping.
So yeah, Asala is looking she has like a bag of things, you know what I mean? I think she was outfitted relatively well. I mean, they didn't want to make it obvious that she was being sent off to the wilderness to meet her demise.
Sure.
But she realizes that like everything, even the like traveling clothes that she has, are just like essentially the this world equivalent of a neon sign that says, "Hey guys, I'm from the Imperium. Hey, that's where I'm from." So she's trying to sort of like let go of some of that and blend in a little bit more, because she's been made like within a second just about everywhere she's been.
Okay, so you're going to find some traveling clothes less appropriate to your station.
Yeah. just normal, regular clothes.
This takes a while, but not because you can't find it, but because Asala doesn't know how to look for it. Right? So like Asala is like walking through Marks and just goes, that is perfect. And then immediately like, no, silk is not what I want right now.
Right.
That kind of deal. So it takes you a good little bit. You're probably going to be the last one back, but eventually you do manage to find some more discreet traveling gear for yourself. Do you want to grab some for Calix, or are you just like, nah, he's fine?
I definitely think that Asala will grab some for Calix. Kind of keeping in mind like the sort of Calix version of traveling clothes. You know what I mean? Like nothing, just something to help them be a little bit more discreet, but not like she's not going to dress him in like an outfit that is going to make him upset. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not peasant clothes, right? Like it's still,
well, and it's also not like, you know, a Robin Hood costume.
There we go. Yeah. Sensible clothes all around. Fantastic. So everyone meets back up at the inn. Y'all have all of your information and your gear and things like that. And do y'all want to do anything when y'all are back together? Or do y'all want to have some conversations on the road? Which way do y'all want to do it?
Well, I'll toss, Mr. and Mrs. Fancy Pants some, tent and blankets, like, so they don't die in the wilderness because exposure to the elements will kill you. After the Oregon Trail.
Get dysentery.
Yeah. And I'm literally just, tossing a tent and a blanket.
All right.
Just so you don't die on the road.
Cool. All right, so here's what we're going to do for the rest of today's session. The best way to describe this is that we're about to have a travel montage. And it's going to be a little bit of some random encounter nonsense, but also intercut with y'all being able to have some conversations on the road if you want to. So there's going to be some chances for y'all to just have some role play conversations on the road and some opportunity for some exploration and things like that. Things that y'all have done are going to contribute to this, to these rolls. And I'm going to have each one of y'all is going to make the roll. This is just a little bit of how I'm choosing to do this. I'm fairly certain this does not exist in any rules anywhere, but it's what I'm doing. So, okay. We're going to go in basically the order that I have y'all in the Zoom call right now. This is going to be Atrian, Mariana, Asala, Calix, and then Valentina, if she's able to pop in at some point. So I'm going to have y'all just roll 2d6. And kind of what comes out of that number, I'm going to look at a piece of paper that I have, and then we'll figure out what's going on. All right? So, Atrian, roll your first 2d6. And I have, like, what y'all's bonuses are that I'll add together. It's fine. All right. That's pretty good. So this is going to be a fairly long little trip. I don't know if y'all have looked at the world map of Thetis recently. And Tiva City is down at a bay. And where y'all are going to the Arlathan Forest is up by the Northern Ocean. So y'all are basically having to walk across Antiva, which is not a huge place. It's about maybe half the size of Ferelden. So it's good size. So this is going to be it's going to be a good little hike that y'all are going on here. A few days into it, things have been going well-ish. I feel like at this point, people have mostly adapted to the rigors of traveling on the roads without some of the fineries of city life. Atrian, y'all are coming up into the dry lands in Antiva. It's kind of I'm picturing it as kind of a savanna kind of plains kind of deal. And you see a watchtower, like a crumbling old watchtower, kind of up on a little rocky prominence. They're at the kind of the as the leader of this little caravan that y'all have made. What do you want to do?
Well, what time of day is it right now?
It's middle of the afternoon, probably, when this comes into view.
Okay. And it would probably take me a little bit, depending on the size of it is, to get there.
It would probably be about time to set up camp when y'all got there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, not sure about this. What's in there, but I feel like it's gonna be a bit warmer than the outside if it's inhabited. Or we can continue on. It's up to you. I just know that some are possibly used to a bit more comfort than just a bedroll.
Was that to the party as a whole?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Y'all want a nicer place to stay?
Wolf got your tongue?
I mean, it's still pretty early to stop, isn't it? I wouldn't mind checking it out, though. It looks interesting.
Possibly check it out, see if it's a good place for camp and scout ahead. But weather has been, I'm assuming, somewhat pleasant. I don't see any cloud on the horizon, things that would indicate that, a Faynado may come in.
Definitely no Fadenados in the forecast. Y'all have had a couple of rainy days, but it hasn't been bad, and it's been a beautiful day so far today.
All right. If you want to check it out, we can. Otherwise, we could just set up camp later on, further in. Just not sure that we're gonna get that much of a nice potential location.
I think Asala is sort of looking from Calyx to everyone else, not wanting, just sort of going with Atrian's lead. Whatever you suggest. It's been made clear by my blisters and reaction to all of the plants that I am not exactly well versed in this particular leg of the journey, so I will yield to your expertise.
Is Salah somehow allergic to everything?
Yeah, I imagine that I imagine it sort of is the she's very excited and clearly is this is interesting and exciting to me, but I am not the person who should be making any sort of decision, because I am basing it on what's cool and interesting to me, and not the fact that everything out here probably wants me dead.
All right. Then I guess we can check it out, scout ahead, and hope for the best. And I'll quietly, as discreetly as possible, approach the tower, scouting the location first.
Cool. All right, give me a perception seeing.
Perception seeing, I can certainly do that. Perception and seeing, look at that, I got that here. With 3 stun point in there, if an 11 works.
Yeah, what do you want to use those stump points on?
I guess 1 point for advantageous positioning, just to be in the right location, right? And I want to do in that same time an efficient search.
Okay. Cool. I think those two stunts are going to kind of push you over the edge on this one. So what you find is this tower. It is originally like a watchtower. Just
Mhm.
this part of Antiva, keep watch on things back in the day. But at some point, it had been repurposed for something, and you're able to find that part of the interior is pretty well still built up and still whole. Decent places where y'all can camp for the night, but also 2 locked rooms.
All right, that's interesting. Any recent sign of life?
There's the normal kind of rodents around, and there's kind of like right in the main entranceway. It looks like maybe a shepherd had brought some sheep in at one point, but nothing super recent that you can see. Like it definitely doesn't look like there's any sort of like predator.
All right, good spot to set up camp. All right, well, looks like we're in the clear here. You may want to consider setting up camp here, resting, just bracing yourself.
Yeah, y'all can set up camp really easily. Y'all can settle in, have a meal, talk around the fire. If anyone wants to try to investigate the locked rooms, y'all are welcome to. Yeah, I see a hand. Hello.
Rogue Squad.
Yes, I absolutely. Yeah. Her curiosity is piqued. Just because there's a locked door out in the middle of nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, let's lockpick that thing. What shall we use for lockpicking? I think I saw that. Did I see that?
I'm guessing it's probably a dex skill.
Either that or-
Probably.
yeah, either that or. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense.
Oh, there is. Yeah, lockpicking is a dex focus. So yeah, it's gonna be a dex check. If you have the lockpicking focus, you're welcome to use it.
I do not, but I think I'm like passively trained in it.
I feel like you did pretty great. You got a heap of stunt points. Do you want to?
Yeah, let me check this table.
Yeah.
Big ticket stuff. First of all, I'm going to use 4 of those points to do resources at hand to, until our venue changes, just say that I have the lockpicking focus, since there were 2 doors that were locked.
Yeah.
And then the other 2. Just speedy search, I guess.
Awesome. So did you go left or did you go right first?
Left first.
Left first. Cool. That probably looked really weird on a backwards Twitch view from y'all side, but this is the left side of my room, I promise. Okay, left side. Left side is a storeroom. There are some barrels. There looks to be some there are some dried ration kind of things that y'all can find in there to kind of refill your supplies a little bit. And there's some spoiled, like what probably was once fresh fruit and things like that, and is now definitely not. There is some sort of vine growing out of what may have once been like a little pile of melons. It's climbing up the wall because nature and life find a way, and that's a wonderful thing. There's also a chest in this room. It's just sitting there. It's not doing anything really.
Okay. I have not read the trap section of the rule book. Is there a look for traps, right? Check for traps. Is that a thing in Dragon Age?
It's a dex check.
Okay, yeah. I'll kind of carefully poke at this chest and see if I can find any traps.
All right. Go ahead and give that a roll for me. Jeez. So there's a kind of like a chunk click as you're examining this, and you get the feeling that a trap was disarmed. That you found a trap and disarmed one in there. Because that's a huge roll.
Cool. I would use resources at hand again, and give myself whatever ability finds traps.
Yeah,
Whatever focus finds traps for the rest of the time that we're here.
cool. Yeah, you got that too. All right. And the chest isn't locked, which was kind of your first clue that there was a trap.
Yeah.
And inside is a small pouch of gold or of silver. Sorry, we had this whole conversation before the game started.
Very
Silver is the
excited.
going currency here. There's a small pouch of silver, and in the proper tradition of Dragon Age and other RPGs like it, there's a staff in this small chest somehow. We don't really worry about it.
Need
Don't
to
worry
ask
about
questions.
the physics of it.
Am I the only one in this room?
I believe so. No one else said they walked in there. You just kind of like unlocked it and walked on in and looked around. So
And for now, I'm gonna slip the pouch of silver into my skirt, and I'll walk back out with the staff. Hey, I found this. I don't know if it'll be useful for anyone, but
Asala, Calix, presumably one of you two might appreciate taking a look at whatever this is. Does someone want to take a look at it and see what's going on here?
Yeah, I like looking at things.
Yeah, I
Do
got
that all the time.
eyes.
I will nonchalantly toss it to Calyx.
All right, both of y'all can give me a roll here. We're going to look at.
Oh, it's all about the heraldry of the
Yeah,
staff.
I was wondering when y'all were going to bring up heraldry. Sure, you can roll heraldry. That sure. I don't know that's really going to work. But if y'all have arcane lore,
Yeah.
so cunning. We're looking for a cunning roll, and either of y'all can do this.
I got some arcane lore.
And Calyx would like to solve the entire plot of this story arc using stunt points on this investigate a stick roll.
Big rolls
What is
tonight.
happening with
It's
these
17
rolls?
stunt points in a row.
Jeepers Christmas. Okay. What would you like to do with these
Gosh, I don't know.
stunt points?
What stunt point gives me the conspiracy board explaining everything about this stuff?
Unfortunately, I think you need 10 stunt points in one roll to get that. So
I'll roll better next time. It's fine. I don't know. I always have to look for these. I can never find the not fighting ones.
I dropped a table into our Zoom chat.
Thank you.
ooh, there we go.
Combat speed. Exploration stunts?
It's our thing to have stun point applied for this case, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any specific stunts. Raven mentioned one about one that gives you more information or staying alert. I feel like you're already going to get a good chunk of information out of this.
I guess object of your attention seems good. Like receive a +1 bonus to further tests to examine or perceive additional aspects of the object.
Okay, cool. Then that we'll say that that's going to push you over to getting quite a bit of information about this. So this is a blackened heartwood staff. Calyx would probably have heard of one of these before. So it's a wooden iron quarterstaff, originally made of mahogany heartwood. And this is the bit that you would not have gotten earlier because it would normally be something that's kind of a cautionary note to most people. It's been touched by the blight. So you can't really tell what's metal and what's wood anymore. It's all kind of twisty and black. And in game terms, it gives a +2 bonus to spell power when casting entropy spells.
Now, when you say covered in touched by the blight, like in a cool chill way, or in a I should be wearing lead all over when I touch this way.
It happened a while. Basically, it just went from being like, this stick is really good at all magic to this stick's really good at necro magic. Which is why Calyx may have heard of them before. Like Blight, like Darkspawn kind of twisted magic weapons like this tend to get used by Navaran mages.
Yeah, and I think how that's conveyed to everyone else is like Calyx's. He doesn't say anything, but his eyes light up like he went like a kid that went to the toy store and found like the one rare, shiny, holographic, whatever version of the thing that they wanted, and is like looking around like, is this real? Is somebody joking with me, or can I have? Is this mine? Just confused and excited glances around the group.
And so that's the goodies out of the first room. Mariana or Atrian, do y'all want to check out the other room while the two mages are drooling over Calyx's new toy?
I mean, if you want to go ahead, I'm probably busy making sure that we have camp and possibly fire, that we don't face it at the middle of the night.
Adrian's making sure we all survive. Yeah, I'll continue poking around.
I mean, if you like, blow up it on your own in that room, that's on you,
All right. I mean, the door is locked on the right room as well. So roll me a dex check with the focus this time because of y'all's insane rolls earlier.
I am going to check the door for traps first.
Good. You have that one too. Why not?
That was dexterity, right?
Uh-huh.
17.
There are no traps on this door.
Cool. I'm going to pick the lock.
Cool.
17.
Sweet mercy. Yeah, it's it opens up. This combined with what you found in that chest is starting to give you a little clue that one of the last occupants of this tower might have been a wizard, because this room has some rotting bookshelves in it. I think that got someone's attention.
I'll poke around for a second before leaning out and telling them there's books. Is there anything of interest to me in here?
Give me a perception seeing.
Oh, it had to run out eventually.
There's nothing that's like, there's no chest in here. There's no like outright just shiny things. You can kind of tell that some of the books aren't fully destroyed, so maybe some of those are worth something, but
I'll walk back out. There's a bunch of books in there if anyone's interested.
I think Asala has been trying to prove herself somewhat useful by helping Atrian in the way that like the little kid at the campsite picks up sticks. And as soon as Anna says books and watching Calyx sort of form like a deeply emotional bond with a rotting piece of wood, I think she gets up and is sort of like puts her kindling very, very neatly. Like I imagine she's made sure all the sticks are like the same length and they're stacked very neatly. And she's sort of like, did you get to look? I don't know how this goes. Did you get already to look at them? I would really like to see the books. She's looking at Anna, sort of like do rogues get dibs? I don't know. Did lock pickers get dibs on stuff? I have no idea.
Oh no, I don't really read a lot of books, so you're welcome to it.
Isala is going to go into the room, trying desperately to hold in her skipping.
After I say that, I actually will follow Asala in, because I just remembered I should be looking for books with recipes for my talent in them.
So Asala goes in. Is it like full of rotting bookshelves? Is that just like the room?
That is, yeah. This was very much just like a mage's like small little library as part of whatever this tower was to them. And yeah, you can search around, do a perception scene or cunning.
Cunning. Okay. All right. Let me open the stunt table right there.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, this is great. Y'all are gonna find everything. This is gonna be a thoroughly looted tower.
Okay, so I think oh man. I feel like I'm going to take, so I have 6. I feel like I'm going to take That Makes Me Wonder, which allows me to immediately make another perception test at no additional cost in time or resources to discover more information about your surroundings or the object of your test. This bonus must use a different focus from the first test, however, and doubles on this bonus test do not give rise to stun points. The 2 tests are assumed to transpire simultaneously, not one after the other. If there is nothing additional to discover, the stunt is wasted, but the GM will not prevent you from choosing the stunt, even when there is nothing additional to learn.
Cool, go nuts. Make me a perception roll.
I love all of those things.
Okay, cool. Then let's talk about the perception roll first. You're going to when you're poking around in the books, you pull one out and like the book is not really anything super worthwhile, but you're kind of leafing through it and this sealed envelope drops out of it. It's got like a wax seal on one side. If there was ink on the front side, like addressing it to someone, it is gone.
Would the wax seal have anything to do with heraldry?
Yeah, it would. Weird how that worked.
Yes! Heraldry will save the day. All right, team. I had 14. I don't know.
This is not actually difficult for you. You know this sigil. It is it's not one you would ever really want to encounter in your life, for a lot of reasons. It's a magisterium sigil for the House of the Watchman of Night,
Awesome.
which is a sigil you have run into on this journey so far.
Sure have. I'm super pumped for that. So, Esala is going to sort of look at the envelope, and she's just going to hold on to the whole book. She's going to slip the envelope back in and just hold on to the whole book and keep searching around. She's not going to do anything about it right now. Acknowledge it.
Okay, you're just gonna kind of put it away.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to then bounce back to your original roll. And what you're gonna find when you're poking through this is you're going to find tucked away, like it was a book that was put like turned sideways the wrong way and put to the back of a bookshelf and then had other books put in front of it. It is a old journal. It's got some like magic residue on it that you kind of can guess that it's like keeping it from falling apart, because you also recognize, if you look inside, that it's written by a Tevinter mage, an Altus of their time. And this is exactly the kind of thing that y'all would do with your journals now. Because listen, all your thoughts are worth preserving for eternity.
Duh.
It also really helps to set the scene that the first entry just says, "My coffee was delivered late today. Had a slave flogged and replaced with another one." And nothing else is on that page. Eventually, though, it mentions the Arlathan forest, and you kind of get the feeling that this Altus was there when the Tevinter Imperium, like, went to conquering way back in the day.
All right. I definitely think Esala is going to sort of look at this, and she's keeping her face relatively impassive. Just sort of just looking and taking note of stuff. I don't know if it's so much that like she doesn't like, it's not that she doesn't necessarily trust Mariana. It's just more, I think she's used to doing that, and I think she reads that page about the coffee and kind of winces a little bit, like, ugh. It's kind of like, when you like look back at like your great grandparents' high school yearbook and like the stuff that used to be okay for them to just sort of put in there, and you're like, oh no, nope, And so I think she's definitely gonna hold on to that, maybe try and find some time to connect with Calix later, where they can maybe have a conversation. And I think she's also going to just sort of look around and see if there's anything that seems like it would be useful to like the rest of the crew, like books on anything.
Roll me a d6.
She just basically doesn't want to be like useless. And she is, because she rolled a 1.
Well, no, what this means is, it means, because I was already going to give you a book for someone else in the party. So this means you're going to get another thing for someone else in the party. So the first thing that I was going to give you anyways is basically, you had secured from Farron a basically like baby's first magic textbook for Valentina. And this is like the 201 book.
Nice.
For her. It's the next one in the series of, so you want to be a mage, huh? Like the first one is all like, you can do stuff with your brain. And this one is just like, now about not summoning demons. So it's
awesome.
Good. The second one that you come up with is a very, very small, not a lot of pages are left in it. and what is there is like deeply encoded. So it's gonna take Mariana a while if you decide to hand it to her. It's basically like a couple of old poison recipes.
Yeah, I think that she's going to be like excited to have done something vaguely useful and not wanting to sort of interrupt her. I think the thing is like Asala like knows what she's good at and she knows that it's not this, and she also knows that she can't sort of spend this entire journey being a total asshole as the person who is most likely to get torn apart by like tripping over a root or something stupid. So she's definitely going to sort of gently kind of, as I'm assuming Mariana is looking through the books, is going to sort of hand it to her and say, I think this one is probably better suited to you than to me. Something tells me that you would like codes.
And I can tell what it is when I see it, even though it's coded.
Pretty typical, kind of like a lot of like the poison masters would keep their recipe books in code, and this is definitely a damage, so there's only a few left in there. And the identifying page is one of the pages that was ripped out. So we're just gonna basically consider this like how Mariana is going to level up her poisons as we go on this journey. So if you learn new ones when you're just out in the forest for some reason, it's because you figured out a bit of the page.
Oh, thank you. This is exactly what I was looking for.
It's an incredible find, this room. Thank you for opening it and sharing it.
It wasn't locked very well, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah. I think that she's going to, not anything, I'm assuming nothing that's like overly useful, but I think for some level of like sentimentality, I think she is going to pick up like some of the just random books that are around. Like, I'm assuming nothing, just sort of more for her to get for her own sort of joyful reading, not necessarily for like hashtag plot purposes. And then,
did you find anything good in here?
some old stuff. I found something for Valentina that will help her continue her training. That's important. Untrained mages are can be quite horrifying, especially on a journey such as this. So that will be useful, and some trinkets that certainly will take my mind off of all of the scratching noises as I try to go to sleep.
And with that, we're going to go on our break as the party beds down for the night. And we'll be back here in just a few minutes. So grab some water, grab a snack, do what you got to do, and we'll be back for the next part of our travel montage. See you in a bit. Welcome back to our Tuesday night Dragon Age campaign. We are going to carry right along with our traveling montage. So next up is going to be Mariana. If you would roll me 2d6, please.
I can absolutely do that. 6.
Okay, cool. So it's it's a few days later. Y'all have been on the road again. Y'all have come down into a part of the dry lands where there's these like kind of tall trees kind of scattered around throughout. Kind of picture like fantasy baobabs. That's probably a good way to describe this. Fantasy baobab trees kind of scattered all around. And yes, I am now 100% taking my view of the drylands from the African savanna and the bush out near South Africa. Which is a beautiful place. I love it. Y'all have been traveling for probably coming up on like a week and a half now. And y'all are almost all the way across the drylands at this point. Y'all have been following a trade road. Y'all are going to have to turn off of that eventually, but not yet. What happens on your day, though, is a thunderstorm rolled in. And as y'all are kind of like looking for a place to shelter, you notice one tree is built, it kind of grew out on this little small hill, and the way its branches went and the way kind of erosion happened around it, there's this kind of deep depression that almost goes under the tree. So there's kind of like partially this like almost natural like cave opening. It's not a proper cave. It doesn't go back deep, but like part of the ground underneath the tree itself has washed out and the roots have kind of formed like a ceiling area. And there is a campfire glowing inside of it. And y'all can kind of see a little bit of motion through the driving rain, but you can definitely see the campfire. What do y'all do?
Should we risk it? It seems like the only place of cover. Say, looking at Adrian.
We don't have much cover, and depending on who they are, it might not necessarily be fully friendly. If we approach it, let's approach it with caution. I'm not myself a people person.
I mean, I can talk to them. It's just whether or not we want to.
Yeah, I don't see any way out of the storm, and if we get sick now from it, it's gonna be the end of us. So
Okay, I can talk to them. Does anyone want to come with me?
I will.
Okay, let's go then.
I'll stay a little bit back just to have like a line of sight on them.
Okay, yeah, you, Atrian, Calix, and Valentina could probably stop like just under like the leading edges of the branches. So a baobab, if you don't know, goes up and then has wide spreading kind of flat branches at the top of it. It's an amazing tree. I love them. So y'all can kind of hang back there, and Mariana and Asala are going to push on in a little bit more. There are 3 people kind of moving around the campfire. There's kind of this stew pot hanging over the fire. There looks to be like a cart and maybe a mule of closer to like a donkey rather than a proper horse inside the cave, kind of way to the back, clear of the rain and everything. And 3 people are moving around. Can't really get a good look at them yet. They're all kind of wearing, traveling cloaks and shedding the rain off of it and everything, bustling around. Look like they're making camp and getting dinner ready, things like that.
As I approach, I just have my right hand kind of casually hanging by my side, but it's inside of my skirts, and I have it on the dagger that's strapped to my leg. And at the entrance of the tree. Hello.
One of them turns around and says, "Oh, hello, traveler. Also caught in this terrible weather, are you?"
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Now, that happens pretty frequently in this part of the drylands this time of year. You have to be careful not to get swept. If you're going closer to the hills and the mountains, and the lady kind of points north the way y'all are heading, you got to be careful of flash floods. They can catch you out of nowhere sometimes.
That is
Do
very
y'all
good to know.
do y'all have a place to stay, or you can share our fire? Certainly, I don't know how much we have to share, but you're welcome to enjoy the heat. Certainly.
Well, we have our own rations, and that if we could just have a dry place to stay, that would be wonderful.
One of the other ones from the kind of the far side of the fire, who's like stirring the pot, looks at him and goes, "Oh, you can throw something in here if you want to share. It's fine. We've got plenty to go around, dear."
Looking around at these people, am I picking up anything that I should be worried about?
Do a perception roll for me. Asala, also do. Both of y'all do perception rolls, and both of y'all do cunning rolls. No focus, very general. Sweet, merciful goodness. Asala, how would you like to use your stunt points?
Oh boy.
You can choose and get back to me. That is a-okay. Take your time.
Do I have to tell you before you tell us the result of our roll?
I don't know.
I'm assuming probably.
I think probably typically what I do is that I take that into account when I'm telling you what all you saw.
Okay. So I'm assuming this is an exploration one.
Yeah, that was on cunning. So yeah, exploration is probably still the closest.
Okay. All right. I think I am going to I'm debating between the upper hand or with a flourish, since I have 4. Because part of me feels like mayhaps there is something about these folk that Asala Polanius is not going to be 100% down with on like a spiritual level. So yeah. I think I'm gonna gain the upper hand. +3 to an initiative roll, and if what we discover about these people leads to combat.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so let's start with the perception rolls. Mariana, nothing seems really out of place. Seems like a great place to spend the night. Maybe a little bummed that someone else got here first before y'all did, but you know, you're all travelers on the road. Nice to share a pre-lit fire, and hey, there's already a warm stew going. That seems great. Asala, the hollow under the tree goes back further than it kind of first appeared. It's still not a proper cave, but it does go back deeper into the area, and it looks like there's kind of some like stonework on the back wall, but nothing you can really like. It just looks like at some point somebody may have like built a more permanent shelter in there that has fallen down over time. Now, cunning. Mariana, there are just 3 of them. There are 3 ladies, mostly on the older side. Their wagon has a bunch of trade goods is looks like in it. Who knows which way they're going? You had not seen them yet on the road, so it could be this is the first time y'all's paths are crossing. Who can say? But it looks like they're just three merchant ladies traveling the road, presumably either to or from Antiva City. And Asala, there is a whiff of magic in the wind. You can't pin it down.
Okay. Can I do like an arcane lore roll?
Sure. There's a whiff of magic in the air. You can't quite pin it down.
Right.
There's one of them might have some training, you know? Who can say?
Do they seem to be like hiding something, or are they just hanging out?
Just hanging out.
Okay.
What are you two gonna do?
Well, we should go back and talk to everyone else.
Yes. Thank you for being so welcoming, and we're just going to gather the rest of our party.
And they just say, "Oh yeah, that's fine. If y'all decide to push on, good luck to you. But if y'all want to stay, offers open." And y'all head back over to the other three, I assume?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like there's 3 women in there. Carrying trade goods, it looks like.
One of them has magic.
Really?
At least one. Yeah.
They said we could stay with them in the hollow if we like. They offered stew as well, but they are strangers. I would suggest that if you try it, be careful.
I would recommend not.
Do they seem trustworthy enough? I mean, maybe difficult to find a spot around this with this rain. And I'm gonna take a look around. I'm assuming I don't see anything anywhere nearby that could serve as shelter at this moment. So
Certainly nothing nearly as good as this. Like, honestly, like in your preparation for the trip and everything, you had like talked to some people in the city to get like an idea of like waypoints along the way that you could stop at, and this tree was one of them. Like, that's how good of shelter it is.
And yeah, putting a tent this weather, we're not gonna be able to dry out or anything. This may be our best option.
The hollow in the tree is deeper than it appears. It may be best as we bed down to keep an eye on it.
A good idea. We should definitely keep a watch.
Mhm.
Not trust them to do it.
And never just one of us awake at the same time.
Yeah, do it in pairs.
All right. Well, let's move ahead in there before some of us get sick here.
I told you I'm not used to eating so many berries. And you said you weren't going to bring it up again. I think Asala sort of like packs her stuff and sort of goes back.
If we're talking about random food information, is stew more suspicious than if they were making something else?
No, it's more they're a stranger.
Oh,
You don't know what's in it. You'd be surprised how common poisons are.
The right plan in wrong hands
Shall we?
Yeah. All right. Let's move in.
All
As
right.
we-
Yeah, if y'all, go ahead.
As we approach, do we start smelling the stew?
Oh yeah, it smells great.
Am I able to potentially discern some specific smell with some nature lore?
You can sure try.
I can try. If you let me try, I'm gonna try it.
Absolutely, roll something. I'll let you try. I'll let you try anything.
Essentially, give me like knowledge of fauna and flora, so I can if there's any specific plants in there that I know smell.
Nothing smells off. It's got a lot of aromatics. It is it's got a lot of aromatics. It's a beef stew. It's probably made out of similar like dried rations that y'all have, just with some herbs added into it and some things probably found along the way, like carrots, root vegetables, things like that.
All right. Fantastic.
Am I smelling any faint smells of poisons or things that would be used to cover the taste or smell of poison?
None of the smells or anything are necessarily strong enough to really do that, but you know, there's tasteless and smellless ways to kill people too, but
Yeah. Okay. I took the talent. I'm going to get use out of it.
heck yeah. Yeah. So the three of them just welcome you in. They offer you some of their stew. They seem pretty nice. They're willing to talk if y'all want to, but they're not going to push.
You said there was a weird rock structure in the room, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
At the very back of the hollow.
I'm gonna go poke around there.
Interesting. Okay. Let's.
That's weird. I want to know what it is down here. With
That's fair. Do you have historical lore as a focus in cunning?
Nope. I got arcane lore and heraldry, and that's all I need to know forever.
Just roll me a cunning roll. No focus, just a cunning roll. What you want to do with this heap of stump points that y'all all keep getting?
You know what? Why don't I also do the upper hand if my discoveries lead to combat within a moment or two? I receive a +3 bonus on initiative.
I give y'all a delightful evening with some fine ladies, and y'all are just like, we gonna die. Okay. Sure. Awesome. This is old stonework, like real old stonework. And okay, yeah. You know what? Because of Calix's background, he would kind of get this. This was a shrine. Like almost like a funerary shrine. Like the oldest parts of the necropolis have kind of evolved, like a few generations evolved from this kind of stonework.
Oh, okay. Shit, so really, really old.
Real old.
Were those associated with, like large areas like a mausoleum or a necropolis, or were those more like personal individual things?
The kind of shape of these is like individual. Like this kind of work would be for like, this person was really, really cool about this thing. So
Got it. And sorry, last question.
Yeah.
Is this just one that we're seeing here, or is this like part of a bigger thing?
it's hard
Or
to
like-
tell because it is mostly ruins. Like there's just a little bit of it, but you don't really think that it's just one. Who else is doing something tonight?
Just keeping to my own thing mostly.
Adrian, roll me a perception.
Yeah, I can do that. Anything specific like seeing or hearing? I have seeing as a focus. Is it more something I would see, or just general
Yeah.
perception?
Yeah, it's seeing. Go for seeing.
All right. I probably don't see much. Riding the average.
All right, so you are gonna get some stuff out of this. You're going to notice something here that is maybe just a little bit You notice the stonework at 1.2, just kind of like walking around.
I mean, it was
checking
brought
out the
up.
space.
Notice it.
Yeah, it looks like an elven shrine. Like y'all still have some shrines that show up frequently in Dalish camps, to like a particular like, what were they called? The leaders. Were they seekers? No, that's different. Oh, I had it written down. Hold on.
Keepers?
Keepers, yes. Like a particularly notable keeper might end up with a shrine when they die. This looks like the origin of that. Is kind of what this stonework reminds you of. Yeah, that's what you get.
Interesting. And I'm gonna just kindly approach and see if I can see any name or anything, because I mean it is tradition for the Dale to bury their dead under a tree, so
So there's not really any writing that's visible anymore. There are a couple of things that you'll notice though, as you're poking around. Like there's some, kind of a recurring tree motif that shows up, but that's kind of just an elf thing anyways, especially this close to Arlathan. And there's a tree on top of you right now. Nothing's really popped. It's very, very old. One of them kind of looks like it might have prominently featured a Hala, but who can say anymore?
And I mean, based on the size and age of the tree, I'm assuming this tree was probably planted that after Dad was there, so I'm assuming it's even older.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the tree grew over this.
Yeah. Well, this is an important place.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah, I'm assuming that God Boy is next to me, so.
Oh yeah, Calix, are you still there looking at it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think that does kind of like shake him out of his stupor.
And there's a voice from behind you too. Oh yes, very important, very old. Do the two of you travel these roads often?
These roads, not particularly. But one following the path, one always find home, so.
The one of the lady who has shown up is the oldest of the three, and she just kind of cackles at you a little bit and says, "The road home, yes, very good, very good, very good. This place was once an outer, how would you say it? The outer edge. The first sign to one of the family that they were nearly home. Or the last friendly sight before they left to the wider world once upon a time.
You seem to know much about this place.
Well, we've come here many times. It's a good tree.
I'm just gonna keep quiet for a moment. Just now, try to think of who may have, been here, who may be buried here, what their history may be, and just try to read the stone and see if it tells me a bit more about that person's life, just to myself.
There's not a lot. Like there's
Yeah.
it is almost worn smooth. Like
Oh, yeah.
making out what you did was already very, very hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what the role for this would be, but is there any way just being so much in a situation where you're in a crypt, you're with the buried and interred dead that are at rest, can I like vibe with this place, and is whoever was buried here at rest, or does it feel like this crypt has been disturbed? Is that something I'd be able to just like get a sense of?
Yes. I'm going to give this to you as arcane lore, just because I think that's the closest to kind of your origin and everything, and especially with how much magic is tied into the practice there where you came from. So do me a cunning roll with arcane lore.
Ooh. Oh, I've got something with lore, but I don't know if it'll actually help me.
Well, take a look.
Lore novice. Nope, it's when you make a successful cunning test. Never mind.
Okay.
that.
I will give you this. Whatever. This place is at peace.
Okay.
Like this is not. There's not like an undead problem here. Whatever is here, this is a very at peace with itself part of the world.
Okay.
All right, Mariana, Asala, what are y'all up to?
I think that Asala has sort of set up herself like on, I imagine if there's like an arch, right? Like hollow of tree and then sort of protected area. She's kind of on a corner so that she could see like where everything is from her sort of pack where she has set up. And I think that she is reading and busying herself, but I think what she's really doing is trying to sort of get in tune with the kind of magic situation that is here, because she just feels uneasy and does not really trust this whole situation being what it seems.
Okay. Do me a cunning roll with arcane focus.
Okay. All right. Do. Three.
All right. Well, that's a thing. So what are you looking for?
I think that she's just trying to get a sense of like, who are these three old ladies? What's the real deal here? Like, what are we really doing? And really kind of, are we in danger? could we just sort of spend the night and let these people do whatever they're going to do and move on? Like, what is really happening? Because she just sort of is getting the sense that it's not just three hapless ladies who just happen to be here making a stew in this crypt.
Double, toil and trouble. Okay. All three of them, to some degree or another, have magical talent. They're not like broadcasting it. They're not like actively casting spells. There's not really even a lot of just like magical residue around here, which is a little odd. There's magical residue kind of everywhere. But as you're kind of like reaching out and kind of like sensing around here a little bit, one of them, who is ladling up a second helping of stew, just looks over at you and goes, "Not polite to pry, dearie."
I think she kind of looks up and gives like a smile, knowing that like there's no point in lying. She says, I forgive me, I can't help feeling the current and wondering where it goes."
The river flows where the river flows. The important thing is to remember where the river came from. And then she cackles as well.
And she kind of tilts her head and like smiles a little bit and says, yes, you're right. You're right. One can get caught up and distracted by the sights along the river and forget that it is majestic on its own and wields great power.
You're a wise little one, aren't you?
I think she sort of laughs a little bit and kind of shrugs and says, I've spent a great many days humbled by the presence of those far more skilled and worldly than myself.
So the one that you're kind of talking to, she says, always must learn from your elders. They've been here much longer than you, you know.
Yes. And I think she sort of like takes a second and says, how long have you come to this tree?
Oh. Since we were young, we used to dance together in the forest in the moonlight, you know.
I think she kind of smiles in that like, yep. And she says, she kind of nods and smiles and says, it has been a long time since I have participated in a dance.
Oh, if we were but younger, we would dance like we never have before. So much to dance for these days.
Yeah.
Who else is doing anything?
Are they people, like, do they look human?
That's a very good question.
Humanish? Humanesque?
Mariana, Asala, and Calix, yes, they look human.
Great.
Atrian, no, they look elvish.
Cool.
Well, that's interesting.
No tattoos.
Yeah. Which if they've been alive before the tradition, which would have been way old, or city elves, or something else entirely.
Who can say?
Who can say?
Who can say? Does anyone else want to do anything to interact with these wonderful old ladies before bedding down for the night?
Yeah, I had planned to talk to them, but Asala got at most of what I was wondering. But I'll still sit and talk with them. Information is what Mariana does best.
Okay, so there's the third, the youngest of the three, and she's working kind of off to one side of the fire, and she is mixing up some. She's kind of working with several things as y'all are talking, and I think what pulls you over to her is she's mixing up some herbs into what looks like potion bottles, but it's not poisons. Like, in fact, everything you know about herbs tells you that this is all healing stuff that she's doing. And eventually she puts that away while y'all are talking and pulls out just like a skirt and starts sewing it and repairing it. But she's happy to talk to you about the roads, stories from her youth of living in the forest, of just kind of anything you want to ask her. She'll talk to you about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I think with what Asala has already asked, mostly small talk. I'm still trying to get a measure of these three women. But one thing I will ask her is there anything up the road that we should be worried about? Any news?
She's the youngest, and she's also kind of the most expressive of the three. And kind of when you ask that, kind of her face kind of clouds a little bit, and she says, Arlothan's not what it used to be. You must be careful in the woods, dear. When the home was taken away, the forest became very angry. And she looks over at Atrian, who I assume is probably sitting around the fire and listening to this.
Yeah, I'm paying attention to everything I can.
And she looks at him and just goes, he would know. His people know the dangers of the forest very well.
Yes, that is why we have him leading us.
Stay away from stones that walk. They've been without masters for far too long, and they're unruly.
I will
But
keep
if you
that in
keep
mind.
to the
Thank you.
few good roads, you can make it through the edge of the woods without too much trouble.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm looking for somebody actually, and I will describe Reyna.
All three of the ladies kind of share glances, and the middle one, the one who was talking to Asala, thinks for a moment and says, we heard rumor of someone matching that description entering the woods. They were asking about one of the clans that's gone missing, and I fear she may have gone too deep. Be careful straying too deeply into the woods.
We will. But knowing she made it to the woods is that's information I needed. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome, dear. And unless y'all have anything else specifically y'all want to ask them, eventually the old women are going to kind of start preparing to sleep and, tamping down the fire a little bit, putting away the cooking utensils. Interestingly, the middle one starts to sing a little bit as she's preparing for bed, as she's laying down. And what she sings it's in Elvish. So Atrian, you should be able to understand this. it's very old, but it's similar to a song you heard growing up. It's a common song.
Mhm.
It's the song of Andrewill.
Mhm.
So I am the sister of the moon, mother of hares, lady of the hunt. Remember the ways and I'll be with you. It's a lullaby.
Yeah.
You know, everyone hears this growing up for your people. And eventually, despite y'all's best plan to have watchmen up, everyone falls asleep. And all of y'all hear, kind of just on the edge of consciousness, the howl of a wolf. And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. We'll be back with the next part of our travel montage. We're almost to our Laughing Forest. And we're going to get to explore more about what these ladies are, because we're going to come back to a dream sequence. So we're going to go around the table in the opposite direction. We're going to talk about our favorite part, where you can find us next, and anything else you want to promote. So Nikki was not able to join us tonight, but she should be back. She typically would be back on Thursday nights here on this channel for the Star Wars game, which we're not doing this week. We're coming back to that in a week, another week on. And I believe she's in some of the games that the rest of the cast is part of. So she's in one of y'all's games, if y'all would call that out as well. And Rafiki, what was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? Anything else you want to promote?
Hi. Well, one of my favorite part was totally not when we just met what are absolutely not crones or something like that.
It's fine.
Which is, well, I love that. It's actually super fun. I enjoyed that. No, it was amazing. As always. Matt, you're awesome.
Thank you.
But if you want to see this face more for some reason, I typically stream every Thursday on the GR crew. We are currently more or less wrapping up our Titan's Grave campaign. There's about like 2 episodes left. We're not going to be live this Thursday just due to some real life stuff from a few cast members. So, and end of campaign, you want to make sure that everybody's there as much as possible. So that's going to be fun. Other than that, well, you can find me on Twitter under Great Freaky, River Skull Production for music. If you want to tune for like your stream or other things, hit me up. I do that here and there. Otherwise, well, wherever people want to see my face, I'm more than happy to show up.
Very cool, very cool, very cool. I see Historian.
Oh man. I think my favorite part was, and I love this in general, is Matt being like, here's this really, really, really shady thing. And us all being like, this is really shady. And Matt being like, wow, guys, wow. Really lame for you to think it's shady. And us being like, you know what? We're not being fair. Maybe it's not shady. And then Matt being like, hey team, this is really shady. I like it. Or fady. Shall we say fady? It's really fady.
They were 3 delightful ladies who offered you stew, and y'all got real defensive all of a sudden.
Yep. Yeah. That's right. But I think that's my favorite. And also, I love Mariana being like, hey, I found this 250 gold that I found and have split evenly. I think that was also pretty great. Yeah, I'm IC Historian at IC Historian, all the places on the internet that I feel like being found, and I play games with people, sometimes with these people, and sometimes with more different people. And I play those games places, and sometimes it's this place, and sometimes it's other places. Yep, that's me.
Very, very cool, very cool. Anna.
Yes. It turns out we were right about this whole situation being shady. My favorite part, I want to say Roll20 being so kind to us, but I think my favorite part was Asala's eagerness with trying to help with traveling, even though she has no idea what she's doing. I enjoyed that thoroughly. But yeah, I'm Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny, most places on the internet, queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG streamer. If any of that sounds interesting, you find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun. As far as where else to find me, see, it is Tuesday. Thursday night, you can find me on Nerds with Dice, playing Quietus as part of their Halloween scheduling block. Sundays, you can find me either on Gona_Hawking at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, playing Shifting Echoes, which is our D&D 5th edition game set in a world of 1930s technology. It's a really great cast of characters and players. I play a noblewoman who is on the run after being deposed in a coup. Having a lot of fun with that. Or at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sunday nights, you can find me every other Sunday night. You can find me on Guild of the Phoenix, playing Cyberpunk Red, where I play a very overworked med tech trying to keep a party with a death wish alive. Lots of corporate conspiracies there. It's a lot of fun. Monday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on Weave the Tale, playing Alien Paradisial Lost. That's a game that Janie is in as well. I play the party's pilot, and I successfully kept us from crashing and dying last session. And Janie plays Rosalinda, our botanist, who got a new friend this last week. But yeah, that game is getting more and more stressful every week, and the shit's about to hit the fan. So it's definitely worth tuning in for that. If podcasts are more your thing, you can find me on Response Team Omnicron, a Lancer actual play podcast playing through the No Room for a Wallflower adventure path. Our first episode for that drops in 2 weeks. It's well worth the wait. We have a really great cast. We've recorded a few episodes. It's a ton of fun. Or you can find me in Heroes of New Halcyon, which is a City of Mist actual play podcast following teenage superheroes who have grown up, moved away, and are coming back to a city they no longer recognize. And I'm playing a superhero with time-based magic in that. It's a lot of fun. We've recorded the trailers. They'll be coming out soon, so keep an eye out for those. Best place to see where and when I'm streaming is on Twitter, so give me a follow there.
Very cool, very cool. And last but not least, Pat.
Yeah, God, my favorite part was just that whole social encounter of just two groups meeting in this tree and trying to like feel out if the other one is a threat or not, and if this is a safe place, and doing all of the social math behind that. Specifically then to the point of my notes for the end of the session are just all caps, like mad creepy old lady vibes, golems, like 7 exclamation points, and then like a conspiracy theory now of like people keep saying too deep. Arlathan sank maybe? Is it in the deep roads now? And like me drawing like conspiracy boards.
It's fine.
Cal, so yeah. Loved it. Besides here, you can catch me on my channel on Sundays, where we've got Ruby Tooth Bay. That is our Urban Shadows campaign, which has been on a little mini hiatus, just dealing with some time issues. But hopefully we'll be getting back into that soon and have some updates on that on my Twitter.
All right, very awesome. I am Matt. I am the GM of this delightful band that just really seems to hate it when I throw good old grannies at them to have dinner with, but fine. I'll keep my delightful NPCs to myself, who definitely aren't redacted. You can find me on Raven's channel on most Thursday nights. Again, not this week. We're taking this week off, but we'll be back next week with Star Wars, where I play a sweet summer child who's having to grow up and hates it, named Jai. And you can find me over on my channel, Fifth Draw Live, most Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, where I've been streaming stuff. I think I'm gonna pick up Outer Wilds again, maybe. It's a good game. It's a fun game to kind of just noodle around in. I have a podcast called Hard Reboot, where me and 2 friends take a public domain property and slap a fresh coat of paint on it. That is great fun. And I have an Etsy shop called Forge of Destiny, where I make props like this insane Buster Sword and Keyblade, and also lightsabers. And you may be able to win a lightsaber on this channel in a giveaway very soon. Woohoo. And that's it for me. So I'm going to pass it back over to Raven to talk about our sponsors for this stream.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really fun to watch. Y'all did an amazing job. And yes, I do have something to say about sponsors, which are in chat now. They are Fundamental RPG. It's a simple D20 system that's not tied to any genre, so you can use it to tell any type of story that you would like, from sci-fi to high fantasy and everything in between. You can pick up physical copies on Amazon, or if you like PDFs instead, you can pick that up at coffee.com/Raven, like it's spelled there in the chat. Also, go check out our other sponsor, Die Hard Dice. They sell amazing polymer and metal dice sets and accessories. You can find all of their stuff at dieharddice.com, and use the code ANIMUS, that's with a capital A, for 10% off your order. I highly recommend checking out the Luminous Chrome set right now. It's a clear polymer set with these really pretty, like, glittery nebulas inside. They're very satisfying to roll. I highly recommend them. And then if you want to catch up on this show or any others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network, or on YouTube. Just search for Black Feather Guild and we'll come right up. Speaking of YouTube, tomorrow, be sure to check out our live stream over there at 6 p.m. Mountain Time for Black Feather Paranormal Investigations, where we'll have another spooky ghost story, and our group of ghost hunters will be in the middle of that, trying to find a ghost, identify it, and get rid of it without dying. So it'll be a very fun time. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, we're going to go raid Weave the Tail. It's a fantastic network over there, a bunch of absolutely wonderful people. Highly recommend giving them a follow and say hi. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.